why is it so difficult to develop a vaccine for HIV?
Yes. So it is a very big challenge for many of the reasons that I've already mentioned, including the fact that the virus coats itself, in these sugars. So it's sort of, we can't quite, the immune system can't quite get to the sites. But the other reason is because HIV is so variable. It basically can escape all the immune responses that we throw at it, and it also can escape the antiretroviral drugs. Resistance to the ARVs also develop. So HIV is a very mutable or changeable virus, and that represents a big challenge.
All right, well, the initial South African trials will be testing on monkeys. And in the monkey trials, the monkeys actually have SIV, and as humans, we can contract HIV. How does testing on these monkeys kind of translate into humans?
So the testing in monkeys, let me just clarify, is that what we're proposing to do is the antibodies that we've identified in this woman, we have now cloned them, and so what that means is that we can mass produce them in the laboratory. And so we are going to make large quantities of this antibody, and we're going to test it in monkeys to see if indeed these antibodies will protect against HIV, because we then challenge the monkeys, with the virus. If that's shown to work, and that should take 1 to 2 years, if that's shown to work, we will then test it in humans. And then there's a phased approach to this, because we've got to make sure these antibodies are safe. It's highly likely they will be, because other antibodies, antibodies are used, in fact, for other infectious diseases and other conditions. And so we fully expect them to be safe. But we need to do these experiments to just make sure before we go then into a larger study doing in high-risk people who are people who are at risk of HIV, to see if by having these antibodies, they're protected against HIV. Now, in some ways, what we're doing is we're basically fast-tracking the vaccine agenda, because we're basically giving the antibodies that the body is unable to make yet by vaccination. We don't yet have a vaccine that can stimulate these kinds of antibodies, and so what we're doing is we're basically giving the antibodies by transfusion to an HIV-negative person, and then we're going to see if they do protect. Now, if they do protect, that will most certainly tell us that these are the kinds of antibodies we need to develop, or we need to stimulate by vaccination. And that is the hard part, is making a vaccine that actually replicates what we saw in this woman in KwaZulu-Natal. That is the hard part, and a lot of people are working on that.